today's security good enough for tomorrow?
Clearly, no.
Super-aggregator is the blood flowing to our veins.
Perhaps the set-top box is dead, but to be replaced by streamers.
Legacy always lasts longer than you think it will.
Drive customer experiences and create new opportunities for carriers to engage with their customers.
Open and free does not mean easy.
The network is like a living organism.
If I give you $100 million, what would you do with it?
Hello, 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 and welcome to our session on the future of PayTV. Great to have you here on this afternoon, and you saw two of the speakers over there have been part of that video. That means they've been part of a previous event I've been running or an interview, and that's what Connecting the Dots is all about. That's the name of the track, but it's also what I do. My name is Andy Waltenspiel, and I'm running a Munich, Germany-based consultancy, work with leading tier 1 operators like Deutsche Telekom, Vodafone, and some key vendors on the future of the industry on multiple access. So super excited to have some of my network here. And yeah, big applause for the three panelists. So Edwin Elberg from Liberty Latin America, join me on stage. Rob Suero from RDK. Rob, by the way, is a fantastic tour guide of Philadelphia. I've not been here before, my first time, but I love it. I got a fantastic bike tour, so I don't know whether he has a second career in case there is no future for PayTV, which I don't think will be the outcome of our panel. And I don't want to leave Greg standing there too long. Greg Sokoloff. I see Greg brought all his fans there. Amazing. Great. So, future of PayTV, how to remain relevant as a PayTV operator. Before we jump into, please introduce yourself and your company. And Edwin, I'll let you start.
Yes, hi everybody. Thanks for being here today. I'm Edwin Elberg. I'm in charge of fixed products for Liberty Latin America. Liberty Latin America is a 4.9 billion cable operator with operations in 20 countries. So we have a lot of fun making sure that our customers get the best experience in all the products, especially today in TV.
Thank you, Edwin.
Thank you, Andy, for having
Rob.
me here. I am Rob Suero, Head of Technology for RDK. RDK provides an open source software platform for video devices, including TVs and set-top boxes, for broadband gateways, including access networks like DSL, DOCSIS, PON, and soon fixed wireless, and also for cameras. We have over 100 million devices deployed on 6 continents. And I'm hoping to get a RDK-based penguin cam in Antarctica soon, so we can hit all 7.
Have you said the name of your mother company, or did we leave that out?
We left that out.
Okay.
I'll cover that.
But I will add that we have a community of 600 partners, and we think of them as our parents.
Okay.
Hi, everybody. Nice to see everybody in person. I'm Greg Sokoloff. I work for Comcast Technology Solutions. I'm the product and delivery lead for our entertainment portfolio, and working on that for syndication to North American operators Cox, Rogers, Shaw, and Videotron. Our entertainment portfolio for syndication today consists of X1 for our managed video offering, Flex as an aggregated OTT streaming platform, and then our Stream product, which is a multi-platform streaming platform for someone to bring their own devices. Yeah, and increasingly working with our folks over in the UK.
So let's start with audience feedback. So I want to know from you, who has a subscription to a pay TV offering? Raise your hands. Who has a subscription to a OTT streaming video service? Who has one for both? Always the same. Okay, so video is alive. The question is it alive and kicking? So what are the challenges in a pay TV offer? And maybe, Edwin, you are running one. what are the challenges you see in your countries, in your geographies?
Well, so of course, there is a very different environment today that the one we used to have when we started doing TV, either as a telco or as a cable company. It used to be TV a value-added service on top of your network, right? So it was unthought of you providing pay TV without having a network. Some PayPal former employees decided to create this small company called YouTube that proved us all wrong, and they figured out a way to first do video without owning a network, and then from there, we all know what happened. So that has shaken our industry. You cannot just rely on being the only one that is capable of providing video to your broadband customers. You have to win the hearts and souls of those customers with hard work, and that was not the case. That was not the case before. Fortunately, in my region, we have learned some of the lessons from the north, so that I think we have been able to kind of stop a lot of this effect. I cannot say that we are growing pay TV in double digits nowadays, but we are growing nevertheless. And I think it is up to us to make sure that future continues a growth trend.
Thank you, Edwin. Rob, you work with several leading providers of TV around the globe. What are the challenges you hear from them?
I hear about opportunity. So video is growing. People are watching more, not less video. So there's opportunity there, whether they're watching the standard linear product or they're watching OTT providers' products, they're still watching the video. And so there's an opportunity to help the subscribers navigate all of this content. If you've got content just coming from linear, it's fairly easy. You have a user experience that presents that to the subscribers. But when you have maybe 10 different OTT services available to you, and you have your basic linear service that you already had, it gets difficult for a subscriber to try to find it. I've personally in prior years, I've looked on Google to try to find where can I find this content. With the right technology, RDK technology, you can easily discover where that content is, and then an operator has the opportunity to present the best way to view that content to the subscriber. So there's a lot of opportunity to make it a better experience for the subscriber to view that video.
Okay, so challenges and opportunities. Greg, what's your view?
Yeah, no, I can echo what both Edwin and Rob have spoken about already. But yeah, I mean, I think the challenges that all operators are facing is, traditional video from an operator perspective is expensive to pay for content. There's fragmented eyeballs for OTT, and I think, Comcast is fortunate having invested early on, being an aggregator of OTT content, and I think, the challenge that we've got is to just make sure that we've got a platform that brings it all together and people know about it. I think that, those are the things we're hearing.
Yeah, I mean, not many operators on the planet are bigger than Comcast. So we just had a panel before here with the NCTC, and there are several really small cable operators, and they also think about what's the future of pay TV, and their OTT is for sure a threat, right? So, and the direct-to-consumer movement we see everywhere on the planet. Okay, so challenge and opportunity. How do I overcome the challenge, and how do I use the opportunities? That's what we want to explore, because that's a question. Just reading it again. How to remain relevant as a pay TV operator. What do I need to do, and what have you done, Edwin, so far?
Yeah, I think there are different strategies to remain relevant. Some have to do with the value of local content. Some have to do with the value of vertical integration, which maybe here Greg can talk about more than me. Our choice has been the one of becoming a super aggregator, and I think that is a place where we can play a very interesting role by getting all this plethora of content that is available through this multiple OTT and put some order in this chaos that our customers would face if they want to have relationships with every one of them.
What is part of super aggregation? Does it just get all the TV content? Is it more than video? I mean, what's the secret sauce to become or remain a super aggregator?
So the one thing that super aggregator is not is having an app store, okay? So having an app store is not a super aggregator. Maybe it's an aggregator, but no more than that. Actually, if there is maybe the opposite of being a super aggregator, which is worse maybe than having an app store, is being in an app store. Being in an app store and competing face-to-face with people that have huge budgets for content, at least in our opinion, in Liberty, is an uphill battle. So we are shying away of that. We believe the super aggregation is bringing coherence and a single experience across all this content that comes from different sources, being the one that can recommend a piece of content to a customer and having the customer not being concerned of where that content is coming from your lineup, from his recording or her, VOD, or any of these OTTs. That is the secret sauce, in my opinion, of the super aggregator, and the secret sauce of the secret sauce is really the metadata, right? I mean, you need to understand deeply what the OTT players are offering. We are not maybe the best at owning content, but I think we understand content very well, and we are positioned in a unique place to play this role of an integrator by understanding the content, by understanding the customer, and making this chaos of searching for a content relevant. And furthermore, we tend to talk about the maybe, I would say, early majority. But this transition to the OTT world is taking the shape of any technology adoption curve, and even when you are a late adopter, or when you feel like a late adopter because you are just tired, being able to sit back, lean back, and click channel up and get something there is something that is part of the experience, and I think we can bring all these together in a unique way.
Impressive. So, and it works so far.
It does. I am very happy because we see a lot of these behaviors showing up as adoption on different features. Our recommendations that are cross-platform recommendations get 20-30%, depending on the country, of adoption or engagement, right? Either you record or you click to view, or right? Voice has been a very important component of this super aggregation for us, because voice gives you two things. One is maybe the second iteration of lean back, right? I mean, the second thing, or after I'm bored of pressing channel up, leaning back, maybe I'll talk to the TV and have interesting conversations with it, which are not necessarily just replacing the keyboard by searching for a movie, but really an interactive conversation on, hey, I'd like what is there to watch tonight, and how about movies that have a strong female character from the last year? I mean, all these things can now be done, and people are getting used to them being done as they talk with their Alexa, and we are riding on top of that technology adoption curve with impressive results. Some of my countries have shown, I have more than half of the customers talking to their TV every month. So, and when those customers do that, I can see the effect. Those customers are twice more loyal than the customers that prefer not to speak to their TV yet. So that brings us also a path to loyalty and to becoming relevant, which is discover what are those features that turn you into a super aggregator and promote the hell of using exactly those features. That is, I think, the sauce, the secret sauce for this.
Strategy one, super aggregation. Strategy two, we mentioned the vertical integration. That's more the way Comcast has been going. Although I'm not sure you wouldn't see yourself as a super aggregator as well.
No, I absolutely think we would see ourselves in that sense, and that's sort of the foundation of what X1 was. And I think we were, looked at strangely when we, many, many years ago, Brian took the stage and said we were, aggregator of aggregators, and we're going to put Netflix on our platform. Why would we do that with a competitor? But I think it's paid off, and
yes.
I think that's, I would echo all of what Edwin had said in terms of, people, for Comcast, our main goal is to be, HDMI 0, input 1, everything you need is in our platform. There's no reason to, change inputs and go to a Roku to get your OTT content or to another platform. So I think that's very much our strategy as well, Comcast strategy. And I think sort of the next, features and capabilities, I think, the things that we want to focus on are, yes, we want to have all the search and discovery, and we want to have voice, but there's things that we can do with the app providers that even enhance the experience to be able to do in-app voice, so you don't really know that you're in an app necessarily. Mm-hmm. So you can search for YouTube videos, inside the YouTube app with our voice remote. And then, rights permitting, get metadata from the app publisher to do resume watching and sort of watch history and recommendations, so it just fits seamlessly into the aggregated experience on our platform. So yeah, we're very much, I think, focused on that super aggregator experience as well.
Rob, you wanted to jump in.
Yeah, I was going to add that Edwin is exactly right. It's not just about having all the apps in an app store. It's about being able to have the deep integration with the metadata, so when a subscriber is looking for something, you can discover that for them and present them the different options to view it. That's really the key. And I wanted to also go back to what you mentioned about some operators have 200 subscribers and some have 30,000 subscribers. Even, and you mentioned Comcast as well as a big operator, but they all have the same issue of having to get scale. So if you go to 30 or 40 app companies and you ask them to do a proprietary integration with your middleware, you're probably going to get maybe half of them if you have Comcast scale, but you really need to be able to bring a community together to get that scale. So if you have like an RDK community with hundreds of partners and maybe 100 operators that are looking at or working with RDK, you can bring a lot of scale to those app developers, and that gets you a front row seat in getting the early version of the app and being able to deploy that wide ecosystem of applications on top of it. And likewise on the OEM devices, if you have that scale with your middleware, you have a good ecosystem of devices to present to your customers as well, whether that's set-top boxes or TVs or residential gateways as well. So it's also about having that scale with your middleware to be able to provide that.
Yeah. I'm currently running a study with some of the leading tier 1 operators in Europe and ask them the same. So do you want to be a super aggregator? Yes. What is part of that? And almost everyone, with the exception of some smaller, said, yes, we want to be the super-aggregator. It might not be easy. And because the alternative is the dump pipe. And that's not very sexy proposition. It might be a viable one, but it's not a sexy one. So I asked them, what does it take? How do you differentiate? Because if everybody becomes a super aggregator, okay, so how do you differentiate? And that's an interesting one. But I'll share a bit of what my findings are, but I would like to hear from you. How can you differentiate as a super aggregator if all of you are super aggregators? I heard the aggregator of aggregator. Maybe that's it. But yeah, Greg, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think Rob hit on it in terms of, you know, having a scalable platform. I think the first thing you need to have established is a platform for app publishers and developers to work with you and know that, you know, they're going to be able to write an app once and distribute to just more than you as an operator. So I think that's kind of table stakes. I think, you know, we talked about sort of the integrated metadata and search and discovery and voice. I think that's table stakes. I think, you know, there's some enhanced features that, you know, we don't have with every app publisher that I mentioned, that are rights permitting, that allow for, you know, watch history and recommendations and entitlement to be passed. So I think those are a lot of the things that we're looking at for really that seamless aggregated experience and to really be that aggregator of aggregators. And then I think another thing that kind of gets us to the next level is, why as an operator do you want to be an aggregator? And it's, you know, more than just to have a platform that, you know, keeps people, you know, engaged. I think it's all about monetization and what you can do with the fact that you've got, you know, folks on your, you know, customers on your platform. So I think there's some additional commerce capabilities and elements that we've started to bring forward for, you know, rev share for app subscriptions, for rev share on AVOD apps. So I think those are the things that are increasingly, you know, what Comcast is looking at to, if we've, you know, are lucky enough to be in someone's home and we are the aggregator of aggregators and we've got all the content and we've got a platform that app publishers want to work with us on, how do we actually, you know, make some hay on that and monetize? So those are all the things that I think we look at when we think about what it means to be an aggregator.
Edwin, from your point, how do you differentiate?
Well, so first, I don't think it's easy to become a super aggregator. I don't think so. Maybe I'm fortunate enough that I don't think we have super aggregator competitors in
your geographies?
In our geographies yet. In any case, we need to continue innovating and we cannot be a still target, right? So we need to, this trend of innovation need to continue. But on the other hand, we also cannot expect that in this new environment, all the revenue is going to come from the subscriber, right? So that I think that more than a differentiator, maybe is a change in the business model that is very important for us to take on is the advertisement, not only the traditional one, which we have been exploiting since maybe the beginning of PayTV, but mostly take this new trend of fast into account, which also helps you differentiate, but with a different business model. So I think that is a very interesting shift in the business model that can help both differentiate and change the economics. And two, I think that we cannot expect to be selling the Super Bowl ads and I mean, make money like that. I think that we also need to learn from the internet world and some of our over-the-top competitors, how to do addressable advertising, how to make sure that we get more money out of the ads by finer segmentation. So I think that those things, while not really a differentiator, will help you continue finance the continuous evolution of your platform, because the ARPUs, I don't think they're coming back, the ARPUs we used to have.
Yeah. I remember from a previous discussion, Edwin and we did an interview. That's where I asked him the $100 million question. Let's see if we can get an update on that. And you said billing relationship is a key point for you, at least in Latin America. I'm not sure whether that will be also in the US, but what's about billing? Why is that part a key part of your super aggregation strategy?
Well, and this comes maybe back to Greg's point of, do you want to embrace your enemy? And the answer is unfortunately yes, right? It's either you or somebody else. Your enemy, and I would call frenemy, needs, especially in Latin America, a way to reach your customers that may not have a credit card, even if they have, may not be an international credit card, and get some fees that make their product a problem. We have solved that problem, right? And we can solve that problem for them. And I think that part of a seamless experience is the ability of having a digital market where you can easily add or remove pieces of your subscription with billing integration and without any stress for the customer.
Yeah. And that chimes in really well with what I hear from European telcos. It's okay, yes, search and recommendation, discovery, metadata is key. And I saw, by the way, a very nice demo at IBC last weekend in Amsterdam, where CTS does some metadata enhancement by automatically analyzing video content. That was quite impressive. So you can enhance metadata, but if you don't have it in the first place, that's a problem. And that's not a technical problem, it is a content rights problem. So in order to be a good aggregator, you need to have the right content rights, otherwise you get stuck. And it's maybe not just on video, integrate other services, integrate broadband. I mean, Edwin and we had a very nice discussion yesterday here on the panel on the art of doing an advanced Wi-Fi experience. So if you have a great TV experience, but your Wi-Fi breaks down, you won't get far. So it's everything to become the trusted party of your subscriber.
I was going to add, Andy, and this is something that Greg has done a really good job of. You're looking at video as a silo, you're missing some of the opportunity as well. So you can integrate your broadband experience into that first screen as part of your video product. So whether that's just finding your Wi-Fi password or being able to troubleshoot a problem that may or may not be happening in the network, it's a way to tie in your broadband service and make it more relevant on that first screen. Likewise with doorbells or home monitoring cameras, you can tie in all those other things that a service provider offers in the home into that first screen, and you make yourself more relevant and you promote your other services as well. So it's really a way to differentiate yourself, and with the opportunity to offer broadband and home monitoring and other things, you're kind of unique in that space where other super aggregators don't have those other services to promote in front of the television screen.
What other ingredients do I need? Let's talk about platform a bit. We aggregate all the services, we have great content teams, we have great marketing teams and brand. How do I pull it all together? What's the machine that's running? And I mean, you're running one, Rob, so what's the important things I as an operator need to think about when choosing such a platform?
So I think there's two areas where you want to focus. A service provider is really interested in having a good content offering, and they're interested in having choice in their ecosystem. So you want to look for an open platform that offers you choice. You know, if the platform is pre-integrated with several OEMs or several silicon partners, and they make that onboarding of their silicon partners and their OEMs easy, then you have a good ecosystem and you have some competition in the marketplace. So it makes a more compelling platform for the service providers. And likewise, you want to have a good application platform at the top to make it easy to onboard, certify, and upgrade apps on a continuous basis, because that's what you have to support in the marketplace.
Yep.
So really an extensible platform that makes it easy to onboard new partners, whether for applications or devices. That's really the key. And then on the RDK side, it also ties in the extensibility where we have the same device management layer for video and for broadband and all the different broadband devices. So it makes your operations easier as well when you only have to do one integration for device management and all of your CPE can run off of that integration.
Yeah. So you hear that the future of pay TV, there is ways to remain relevant, at least for a certain size, but even others like the NCTC and offers, they try to put it together, and many small operators may become a big super-aggregator using central services. We talked about the importance of broadband, and we have roughly 10 minutes left. So yes, I want to get back to my question, Edwin. I asked you a year ago, and I had an answer. Let's see if I get the same answer. I give you $100 million. What would you do with it?
So
on pay TV.
Yeah.
Not for boats.
I was going on vacation, never to return. But okay. So one of the challenges I have with this vision of a super aggregator and everything we spoke about here is that many of these rely on you having a modern set-top box that supports open platforms like the one that Rob that Rob runs. And when you have been a cable operator for long, some of your customers, if not most of your customers, will not be on such platform. Now, of course, churn can take care of that problem for you, but probably it's not the best way to solve it. So I would use your generous offer of $100 million to swap all the old legacy set-top boxes for the ones that can that customers can use on this new era.
Will it be enough? 100 million?
I think for that money I can negotiate a good deal, and I think I can do it.
Okay. What would Comcast do with 100 million on video?
I've got a few ideas, but the one that I think that I'd like to talk about is, I think we've talked about Comcast really embracing the role of a super aggregator and having, really an advantaged role in having all of this content. And I think the way that we handle the UI that's in people's homes really is still based on the traditional kind of linear subscription, model. And we're focused on, engagement as sort of the primary, metric. Mm-hmm. And I think we need to have something that allows us to start to think about yield and monetization on the platform. So if I had $100 million, I would, think about some magical arbitration engine that would, take all of the data that we get on the platform, recognize the user's subscriptions to OTT services, recognize, where we've got, AVOD opportunities or content that we would want to promote. I mean, we do this today. We've got paid placement opportunities that we do today. We've got editorial teams that merchandise and put things in front of users. But I would take the investment and build something that basically customizes and personalizes the UI to focus on monetization more so than we've ever had the ability to do in the past.
Rob?
I would try to connect some dots. So we have a very large community of partners that are constantly innovating. And when you go to a trade show like here or IBC last week, you see all the really cool stuff that they're doing. So I think I'd take that 100 million and I'd buy a small cable operator or telco operator somewhere in a nice beachside resort. And I'd put myself in charge of that. And I'd make that an innovation hub and bring all those partners in and let them showcase all the cool stuff you're doing on top of RDK. And that would be my future job.
Sounds fantastic.
I had the wrong answer, Rob. That was good.
That was a good answer. So, questions from the audience. We have a standing microphone here, so if you have questions to the three gentlemen, please, we don't bite, don't be shy. Come up to the microphone, ask your question, say your name and your company, anything. Yes.
Anyone but that gentleman, please.
Yeah.
Hi, Juan Medero from Liberty and colleague of Edwin. So.
You have a question for Edwin?
For the whole panel. Basically, how do you see like Samsung subscription service as well as the Apple TV Plus and competing, with the view that you presented?
Yeah, I'll take that one if you guys don't mind. I think we've talked a lot about owning the platform, owning the mall necessarily. But I think what we do at Comcast, and I think all operators need to do as well, is take whatever investment they've made in IP video delivery and have an app that can go on all of the relevant customer-owned and managed platforms that are out there. So today Comcast has Xfinity Stream. It's available on LG, Samsung, Roku, and Apple TV. So I think it isn't the strategy to make pay TV relevant isn't just about having a device that you put in customers' homes that you own the platform on. It's having a video app that you can bring out to other devices as well.
But the question is right. So there was a recent study from Omdia that showed the top 10 video services in US, UK, Germany, and Brazil. Number one was always YouTube. But in Brazil, the number 10 service was Samsung TV Plus. And apparently what the lady said is they were surprised themselves to be in the top 10. So they are trying a super aggregation on the device. So they are a competitor. And yes, there's, I think, 7 tiles at the bottom of the Samsung TV. And their placement is not for free. So if Comcast, Liberty, and all the guys are there, it will be tough for everyone to be there, and then you adjust an app in the App Store, and then it becomes difficult. So,
yeah, I hear maybe in disagreement with my bigger cousin. So, as I was saying, yes, maybe you need to be in the devices, but I don't think you can win that war. At least not with our pockets. Becoming another app and competing head-to-head against the big ones, I don't think it's a battle that we can fight, and therefore I don't put in our priorities to fight that battle. If you think the big, very big people out there try to do that, and they had to eventually create their own device. And I'm talking here about Apple, Amazon, Google. Maybe the only exception that I can think of is Netflix.
Even Comcast with Sky Glass?
Yeah, and also a retail device, a Hisense device that's running our platform as well. So yeah.
So I think that in order, at least if you choose the strategy of a super aggregator, which for us is very natural, being an app is not going to cut it, because you cannot control the experience of everything together. You're just competing head-to-head with the rest of the apps. You are not solving the customer problem either of having to deal with all these apps. So for me at least, I don't think we would go there.
There might be one way. I don't know whether still gentlemen from Nagra are in the room. Nagra and Samsung, disclosure, I worked for Nagra until 5 years ago. They have a way to have security in the chipset, and you can own and skin the TV, so it looks like it's a set-top box. So Samsung is open to that, and some operators have deployed it. So if you can get on a TV and be the main app, then I think it works. If you're one of many, I hear what you say. We have time for one more question. If there's anybody who has a burning question. If not, then I would say quick wrap up. 2 sentences. 3. Future of PayTV. How to remain relevant as a PayTV. What's your summary?
My summary is that there is hope that hope, in our case, takes the shape of a super-aggregator, but there are others. That is not easy, right? And that means that it can be a differentiator, and it's worth fighting. I would invite all our colleagues to do that.
Okay. Rob.
Yeah, I say it isn't easy, but there's lots of opportunity there. So I would pursue that opportunity. And if I was a really aggressive super aggregator, I might go to Samsung and offer them a spot on my platform instead of trying to get on their platform. Get that TV service that's number 10 now. There's no reason why that can't be available on your platform, and you give them a lot more scale and reach as well. So, you know, you've got to think a little differently and look for the opportunities instead of just saying, oh, that's not going to work for me. You really need to think about how you can bring a better experience to your subscribers.
Yeah, and that's why we see operators experimenting with Twitch and even TikTok and try to bring that on the big screen. Yeah, think big.
Yes.
And Greg?
I'll just echo what Rob and Edwin had said, and that it's to lean into OTT and to embrace the role of an aggregator, and then figure out ways to monetize that opportunity and offset any of the concerns that folks are talking about with traditional pay television.
Thank you very much, gentlemen, for this fascinating talk. Thank you, dear audience, for being with us. It was a pleasure. Greg is available for autographs outside in the corridor in a second. So are the three others of us. Thanks for being with us. It was great to have you.
Thank you very much.